Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Converse G4 Low. So this is kind of like Draymond Green's shoe. I mean, it's not, but it kind of is, you know, kind of like how Blake Griffin had the Superflies, but not anymore because Jordan Brand doesn't really make the Superflies, you know what I'm saying? So it's not really his signature shoe, but he's kind of like endorsing it, right? So this like specific colorway is going for 120 bucks. The other colorway that I had, the white one, was 110 bucks. And then the actual G4 high, like the high version of this shoe, is going for 120 bucks. I don't know why this colorway is $10 more, but it is. But I guess regular retail colorways are going to be 110 bucks. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the traction. So they're using a waffle type of traction pattern. It kind of looks like a waffle, and there is a pivot circle where the ball of your foot is. And then here in the heel it says Converse. So this colorway has slightly translucent rubber, and in my other colorway it was a solid white rubber outsole. I only played on an outdoor court, but I did try it on my wood floors and they seem to be biting pretty well, and it doesn't really seem like it's going to pick up a lot of dust because the grooves are not very close together, so there's not a lot of space for it to get trapped. That's just speculation right now. I really want to play on indoor court, guys, but unfortunately there's really nothing available to me right now. And of course, there are some flex screws here. You guys see these 3 lines here in the forefoot. You know, that helps with the flex here in the forefoot. As far as durability goes, I mean, durability seems okay. The rubber is actually really hard, like in the middle of the shoe, right? It's super hard, and the grooves are thick. It's pretty hard to move actually, but like on the perimeter of the shoe, the rubber is ripping off like crazy. It's ripping off, it's fraying off, just like in the high wear areas, you know, like here in the heel, as well as kind of like where the ball of your foot is, and also just here. So I think like just the rubber that's like on the outside or the perimeter of the shoe is a little bit weaker because there is a lot of fraying, but I don't really have anything like in the middle of the shoe, right? So I mean, the occasional outdoor use should be okay. Just watch out for the perimeter. But that's about it. Like if this like kind of frays off or like rips off, you should be fine. And the weird thing is, like on an outdoor court, like the outdoor court that I'm playing on, it has like that rough surface, right? So that usually most shoes that I play with have good traction, but this was slipping just a little bit, right? So like at the right angle, like sometimes it would slip and sometimes it wouldn't. Obviously it's not because of dust. I'm actually not sure what it was, but I would slide out just a little bit sometimes when I was doing like a really hard stop or something. So that's just my experience. And as far as the heel to toe transition goes, it was actually pretty smooth. You know, you have a nice curved shape here in the heel, and then you have a nice curved shape here in the forefoot, so you get this really nice rocking motion. The forefoot flex is okay. I mean, it's definitely a lot stiffer than most shoes. Like for example, in the KD Tray 5.8, it's, look at how easy that is, right? This is just super flexible. This is a little bit stiffer, but it feels a little bit more rigid. It feels a little bit more like supportive, right? But other than that, I mean, overall heel to toe transition is actually really smooth. And then as far as the cushioning goes, the cushioning is probably one of my favorite parts about the shoe. So they're using a React midsole and then a forefoot zoom unit, right? And the forefoot zoom unit feels, it doesn't feel like, you know, the half circle like oval ones, it doesn't feel like it's that big. It just feels like it's a rectangular one, but it still feels good, right? And I'd say it feels really similar to the PG3, although the PG3 does have a larger zoom unit. It just feels bouncy here in the forefoot area. I like to have a nice little bounce in the forefoot. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's just like the right amount for me. And then this React, I mean, it's supposed to be React, right? And you do have like this ribbed pattern here in the heel, so it allows the cushioning to, you know, compress just a little bit more. So, you know, that shape helps with that. But, you know, if you feel it, like comparing it to, I guess, like the Epic React, you know, if you feel it with your finger, it's a lot softer in the running shoes, right? In this, it's pretty damn stiff. Like, I wouldn't say it's super stiff, but it feels like even stiffer than the Renew, maybe just a little bit stiffer. But if you like press it with your finger, it's definitely, you can tell it's not like true React, right? I'm guessing maybe it's like a React core, but it doesn't say anything about that either. So I'm guessing they just put React and then made it like a different formula, and in that case it wouldn't be React, right? So I really don't like it when companies do that. Like Under Armour did that, for example, you know, like in their running shoes, hover is super nice, but then in their basketball shoes it's super stiff. So Nike, or I guess Converse, kind of did the same thing, but of course Nike just they own Converse. But it's still nice, you know, a cord feel is actually pretty good. And as you guys can see, the heel does protrude out a good amount. So that further helps to compress the cushioning here in the heel. So you feel a little bit more compression. But it's not something that I felt like very easily, right? So the only time I felt it was like when I did like super hard heel strikes or when I'm just like running on my heel. And it was mostly just like on the edges. Now, nothing really underneath my heel, which kind of sucks. But anyways, it's more just like a responsive type of cushioning, right? With decent impact protection, right? I was playing on an outdoor court and my feet didn't hurt at all. And you have a decent little bounce in the forefoot as well. So I mean, if you're looking for a really nice cushioning setup with super amazing bounce, or something that has a lot of compression, or something that's super soft or something, you're not gonna get it here. It's more just like a, you know, pretty nice little subtle bounce in the heel, a nice little bounce in the forefoot with good impact protection that's like mostly responsive, you know, which is not bad. If you're a guard and you don't want a lot from your cushioning, you just want a little bit, then this is a perfect setup for you. Alright, as far as the upper goes, so basically throughout this entire upper, they're using like a ballistic nylon type of material. And I really like this upper because it's so supportive, right? This material does not stretch at all, but it's still thin, right? It's still thin, it conforms to your foot pretty well. In the toe box area, you have like a lot of fuse, right? It's a really stiff fuse, and I feel like they did a little too much with it because this ballistic nylon material is supportive enough, right? So I don't think they needed to add all of this, but you know, they did anyway. And of course here in the tongue as well as like in the ankle area, you have a really cheap like suede nubuck type of material. So as far as quality goes, it's okay. It's not the best, you know, comparing it to like a knit or something. It's not super high quality, but also it doesn't feel super cheap either, you know, it feels alright. And then on foot, it feels good, you know, it feels supportive. Like I said, it conforms to your foot, it's soft and all that. And then as far as the tongue goes, you have a pretty nice padded tongue. And the tongue is basically a half-booty construction. So it's attached to a material that goes underneath this like ballistic nylon material. So the tongue stays in place and you have a better overall one-to-one fit. But in the ankle area, it's really thin, right? There's absolutely like no padding. The only type of padding is kind of like right here, where I guess your Achilles is. Everywhere else, like on the sides here, and I guess like here in the heel, there's absolutely no padding. You can just feel just the material and I guess the internal TPU heel count, right? Alright, as far as the fit goes, so the original shoe that I got, that colorway, the white one, I went true to size and it ran really long. So I returned that and then I got this pair, and this pair is actually, I really like this colorway. It's kind of like a Yeezy colorway, but not, because this is more just pink right here. And also this outsole, by the way, is not glow in the dark, unfortunately. And with this shoe, I went down half a size, right? So it fits me pretty good. I would say there's still a little bit of length though. Like that's how long this shoe runs. So if you want a super snug fit, I would suggest going down half, like a full size. And if you just want a good fit, then I would suggest going down half a size. But the thing is, if you want to go a full size down, just watch out because this shoe runs super narrow. Like, I don't know if it was super narrow or just like this part being uncomfortable for me, but as you guys can see, like here on the lateral side, there's this little plastic fuse piece right here, right? Kind of like right where your pinky toe is. For example, if my pinky is my pinky toe, it hurt right here, right? So like kind of on the side, and the laces would be loose for me, right? I wouldn't really tighten here at all, but it would still be like uncomfortable. So just watch out for that. It's narrow there, it's super tight here in the toe box area as well. It's very snug. So for me, I really liked it. The only thing is there was just a little bit of length, but that's not a huge deal. I'd rather have a snug toe space, you know what I'm saying? If you have a narrow foot, this is a great shoe for you. If you have a wide foot, definitely watch out. This part is not going to feel comfortable at all for you guys. Alright, as far as support and lockdown goes, I had no issues. Like this material is supportive enough, and they add some more fuse here. So I didn't really have any issues with lateral containment. And of course, the midsole comes up and you have an internal TPU heel counter, so no issues there. And then as far as like lateral stability, there's really no outrigger, but you know, it's a wide base, you're low to the ground. So lateral stability is good, and of course, this is low, so you're not really gonna feel anything on your ankle. But like I said, you shouldn't have any lateral instability. Alright, as far as weight goes, this shoe feels pretty light. So 11.15 ounces, that's actually super light. My average is around 12.5 ounces. So like for example, like the KD Trey 5.8, super light, 10 ounces, right? So this is like very light. It doesn't feel super light for me, right? It feels a little, it's not bulky, but I don't really know how else to describe. I guess like just a little bulky, like a little chunky here in the heel area. But there's just something about the shoe that feels so sturdy and rigid and supportive that it doesn't feel like this shoe. You know, this shoe is just so like easy to flex, so fluid, so smooth to play in. This shoe feels a little bit more rigid, you know? You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm getting that across to you guys, but I guess that's just how I'll explain it, right? So I mean, it doesn't feel heavy or anything, but it just doesn't feel as light as it is what I'm trying to say. And as far as the ventilation goes, this shoe is super hot. I don't know if it's because it's just really extremely hot. Like a couple days ago when I was playing in this, it was like 98 degrees outside, and I could smell the rubber burning off. that's literally how hot it was. But anyways, like yeah, my feet were burning up, and there's really no ventilation. Like this ballistic nylon, like it doesn't really allow for any airflow. So like when you blow through it, you really don't feel anything. As far as the breaking time goes, there's really no breaking time. And also another thing that I forgot to mention in materials is that this material really isn't gonna stretch out all too much. So if the fit is a little snug for you, it's probably gonna stay snug for you, right? So like for example, the KD Tray 5.8, this knit material, this textile material stretches out really quickly and stretches out a lot when you break it in. This one really doesn't. So just watch out for that. Just make sure the fit is like the fit that you want when you first get it. Moving on to the aesthetics. The aesthetics of the shoe are incredible. I love it. I love how it kind of looks like a, you know, just like a casual shoe, but you can also hoop in it. And I also really like this colorway. Tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, 110 bucks for retail and then 120 bucks for like the special colorways, I guess. There's two colorways, this one and another one that's going for 120 bucks. So is it worth it? Yeah, it's a good performer. I definitely enjoyed playing in it. It's not as fluid or as smooth as I would like personally. But the good thing is I feel like most or like all players can play in this. Like if you're a big dude, if you're a shooter, if you're a point guard or whatever, you can wear this shoe. It's just a type of preference. You get a lot of support. So this is a very solid performer, but just in my personal opinion, it's not my favorite. But anyways, that concludes my review on the Converse G4 Low. Again, if you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.